Imbibers, a very good evening all of you once again. Welcome again children. Once again we are here with the another topic from your reproductive health. Today we're going to discuss about what are the methods used by the respective people to avoid the birth. We're going to basically discuss about the methods of birth control. Yes, medically approved methods of birth controls. And before we start, let me introduce you to myself once again. I am Anam Khan. I'll be your biology expert and we're going to discuss about all the detailed discussions about the biology topic. And just like we are already completed and almost completed your 4 chapters, your heredity chapter will be starting the next week. I have already scheduled your classes and we're going to finish it as soon as possible. We're going to have long session of heredity. Yes, soon we're going to basically have an update on the Embibe app also. So please children, you can register yourself for the upcoming classes. And once again, before coming to the session children, I would always request you to go and always attempt the pre-class activities, and after the session gets over, do attempt the post-class assignment children, so that you know that you have understood the concept clearly. Yes, and if there is anything, you can always come back and ask questions to it. Yes, so children, please I request you to also register for the upcoming classes. All the classes respective subjects have been already scheduled on your dashboard, and for the next week will be scheduled by the end of this week. Do register so that you don't miss an update regarding it. And let's start our today's session. Hi Mamta, I hope you guys are doing really well. Yes, and we have already completed 4 chapters from your syllabus. Yes children, I know the boards are near. Yes, you will be excited and nervous altogether, but do not worry. As soon as we complete the sessions, as soon as we complete the syllabus, we're going to have lots of practice sessions. We're going to have lots of revision sessions, so that you know whatever we have studied in the past. We have had very long discussion related to life processes, central nervous system, animal nervous system. Yes, we had a lot of discussions about control and coordination. So please, we're going to basically revise everything. So please always stay tuned to the lectures and of course the live assignments. Yes, so let's start our today's session. Not a problem, Mamta, it's okay, it's fine. All the session, if you have missed any session by any chance children, just because one more information which I give you daily, that if you have missed any session, if you couldn't attend the session on time, the past Embibe classes, yes, the past Embibe sessions are always be there on your dashboard. What you have to do, you just have to locate them just under the live classes. After this session gets over, I will always tell you exactly how to locate the past Embibe classes, so that you can watch the session again if you want to revise the concept from any particular session, be it mathematics, physics, chemistry. You can basically go through them again and again. Yes, I'll try Mamta. 5:30 would not be possible because we generally have a slots from 4 to 5, 5:30 to 5 to 6, 6 to 7. This is not possible to take class from 5:30. Yes, so let's start our today's session children, which is about the methods of birth control. So children, how do organisms reproduce? We had a very detailed discussion about everything. Yes. So children, we have discussed about the introduction of reproduction in organisms. We have discussed about how the reproduction in lower organisms takes place. We have discussed about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, in the plants also. And today we are on the last topic of this particular chapter, which is the reproductive health. So we're going to have this detailed discussion over here. Yes. Okay, so let's start. So children, talking about today's session, we're going to basically discuss about these concepts. Today we're going to discuss about the mechanical barrier methods. We're going to discuss about hormonal methods of birth control. We're going to also discuss about oral contraceptives and IUD devices. Yesterday we have given you a hint. Yes. Okay, so we're going to basically discuss that in detail. Let's see what we have in today's session. So children, yes, yesterday we had a brief introduction regarding the reproductive health. We have discussed about how exactly, just like the any other system in our body, the reproductive system are also needed to be taken care of. Yes, needed to be basically take care of from the disease and anything. Yes, so we have discussed about it. We have discussed about the introduction and we have discussed about how reproductive health is totally involved the physical, mental and social well-being of a person. So if you have missed this session is already there on your dashboard. You can basically go through this again. So as we start our today's session children, let's see what we have. So children, kangaroos, they have a very different method of contraception. Yes, So basically the kangaroos also have such methods to avoid the birth. So not telling you about the kangaroos, we're going to basically really talk about the humans also. The contraceptive implants have moved from women to kangaroos. Yes, we have also contraceptive plants to move to kangaroos. Talking about the hormonal methods of birth control. As you know, there are two female hormones, female sex hormones, which is the progesterone and the egesterone. Yes, so estrogen and progesterone are the two sex hormones through which we can basically control. They can also act as a method of birth control or a contraception, because the increase the level of estrogen and progesterone will impact the fertilization, will impact the ovulation, and this is how you basically can control the hormonal balances is basically going to control the birth. Yes, so children, as I basically drag the slider, as you can see, this is how the progesterone and estrogen will fall down, and as they fall down, basically there is going to be a, this is basically how, as ovulation day passes, estrogen increases, progesterone also increases, and as there is no ovulation, they will be going to basically decrease. So according to the estrogen and progesterone, which is basically going to be governed, yes, according to the cycle of, yes, it's going to basically the whole cycle would be basically going through, and because we observed that how through the estrogen and progesterone the birth control through the hormonal control can be managed. Yes, as we move on toward next, we have the hormonal method of birth control commonly works by preventing ovulation. So when we talk about the estrogen and progesterone, the hormonal methods of birth control, through this method, through this only method, yes, we can only basically attempt that there is, we can only avoid the fusion of gametes by preventing the ovulation. Yes, we can basically prevent the ovulation and avoid the fusion of male and the female gametes. So this is what hormonal method is basically going to avoid, basically act as a method of contraception. Yes, next we have, so children, there are contraceptive pills also, and basically what they do, the pills also thicken the cervical mucus and do not allow the entry of the sperm. So children, as you know, there is other methods of contraception, which is of course involves the taking the pills, the contraceptive pills. What does they do to the reproductive system? They increase the lining, they increase the cervical mucus, you know, the entry of the uterus, which is the cervical entry. They thicken the cervical mucus so that the male gamete could not enter into the female reproductive system. So yes, this is how the method of controlling through the pills or the contraception through the pills also take place. Yes, next we have what? These are children, these are the particular method of contraception which is basically being used, the implants, the injections, the IUDs, oral pills, skin patches. So yes, these are also method of contraception used, and let's click on each and everywhere one of them, and let's see what basically have each and implant. Hormone containing devices implanted under the skin by a medical practitioner. Yes, implantation, implant can be basically used. This is all basically, as you can see, any of these matter of concentration should be taken under medical supervision. All these methods should be always under the guidance of medical practitioner. So as we talk about the implants, the hormones containing device implanted the skin by a medical practitioner. Next we have injections given deep into the muscles 4 times per year, also hampers the ovulation time, also act as a contraceptives. Yes, next we have IUDs, which is basically being placed inside the uterus and also prevent the fusion of male and female gametes. Next we have oral pills, so it's basically being taken each day orally to avoid the male fusion and fusion of the male and the female gametes. Yes. Okay. Next we have a skin patch, children, worn on the upper arm, shoulder arm, upper back and abdomen. One patch work for a week. This is also basically a method to avoid the fusion of male and the female gametes. Okay. Okay. So children, these are the methods of conception. We're going to discuss about each and every one of them in detail. So first, before that, you can basically give me a good answer. Which of the following is true for the hormonal method of contraception? Yes. Yes, come on, quickly answer it. Is the following is true for the hormonal method of contraception? Yes, the correct answer. It prevents ovulation, increase the level of estrogen and progesterone, which prevents the ovulation. And there will be no ovulation, there will be no fusion of gametes. Yes, simple. No ovulation hoga, no fusion of gametes hoga. Male and the female gametes only will fuse when there will be availability of both the gametes together. And this is, you know, ये basically क्या है, internal fertilization है. Internal fertilization, where it is take place, it takes place inside the female reproductive system. If there is no female gamete, if there is no egg cell, how the male gamete is going to basically fuse with them? So the hormonal method of contraception is going to basically avoid the ovulation. Yes. Next we have what? Which of these is a hormonal method of birth control? Yes. Which of these is the hormonal method of birth control according to you? Yes. Which of these according to you is a method of birth control? Once more. Now quickly answer this. Children, as you know, these are the particular questions. As you join us on the Embibe app, you can basically directly answer through the app. Yes, you're using it from your laptop, mobile, your tablet, anything, you can directly answer, which is of course not possible on the YouTube. So please, you can directly basically join us on the live classes on the product. Yes. Correct answer is, of course, the contraceptive pills is of course going to hamper the hormones inside the female and going to basically avoid the ovulation. Yes. Next we have the, so Saheli is the world's first and only oral contraceptive pill which have a zero side effect. Yes, children, as you know, we're going to basically hampering the normal physiological function of the body. So we're going to basically stop it. It is going to have some kind of a side effects. So yes, Saheli was the first and the only oral contraceptive pill which does not have a side effect. Yes, as we talk about in the ancient time, in the previous time, in the ancient culture, yes, there was very unusual method of contraception. There was many unusual method of avoiding the contraception or controlling the birth. One was that honey was dipped, cotton soaked in a mixture of acacia leaves and honey was used as a mechanical barrier method for the fertilization. Yes, so cotton is basically soaked in the honey and a mixture of acacia leaves and honey was used as a mechanical barrier for preventing fertilization. This is not in the modern times, it was in the ancient time. This was the method used for avoiding the birth. Yes, but as we talk about, we have a mechanical barrier of contraception also. What is a mechanical barrier? Just like this, these are the male gamete and this is the female gamete. We can basically create a barrier between two of them so that there is no fusion. There is no fusion of gametes, and if there is no fusion of gametes, there will be no formation of a zygote and the embryo. So involves the use of device that forms a physical barrier between the sperm and the egg, the male gamete and the female gamete. What it happens, it basically typically prevents the fertilization. It prevents the fusion of gametes. Yes, it involves a device that forms a physical barrier between the sperm and the egg. Yes, it prevents the fertilization. This is a mechanical barrier. Yes, mechanical barrier. As we talk about the contraception, planned prevention of fusion of gametes. What is a contraception? Typically planned prevention of fusion of gametes. So as we talk about more of the mechanical barriers, as you know, the diaphragms, the female condoms, the cervical caps are basically used as a mechanical barrier method. Okay, so by the women, we can basically use a contraceptive sponge, diaphragm, cervical caps. Yes, and you can also basically, these methods are not as effective as methods or like implants and absent. Of course, there is not a basically effective, these methods are not that effective just like the implants, the IUDs, and of course, but they are somewhere effective in preventing the creating a barrier for the fusion of male and the female gametes. As we move forward, we have another question. The Marier method of contraception prevents pregnancy because How does the Baryon method prevents the conception? Yes. Simple. Its form basically it stops the reaching of the male gametes towards the female gamete. It basically act as a barrier. Next, the first intrauterine device, IUT device, was basically developed by German physician Richard Richter in 1909, and the IUT device was made of a silkworm gut. As you can see, children, this is a silkworm, and the first IUD implant was basically made by the German physician, which is basically being implanted into the female reproductive system so that the fusion does not take place. And it was first made by the silkworm gut. Was the first IUD device was made by the silkworm gut by the Richard Richter. As we talk about these, so IUD devices, which is basically, this is how it's basically going to implant it. As we talk about the IUD, it is usually T-shaped, placed inside the uterus to prevent pregnancies. Two type of it is copper UID and this is the hormonal IUD. These are basically placed inside the uterus so that there is no conception, there is no fusion of gametes. Usually it is T-shaped, as you can see, and placed in the uterus to prevent the conception, and it is of two types. One is the copper IUD and the other is the hormonal IUD. Yes, these are the particular IUD devices used. These are the devices, as you can see, children, all the methods are majorly used by the females. Yes, the major methods are basically the implantation, the IUD implantations, the of course the pills, they will be majorly taken by the females because to avoid the ovulation, to avoid the fusion of gametes. So again, IUD devices will be placed inside the female reproductive tract, which is the uterus, and so that the male gamete could not just reach to the egg cell for the fusion. Clear? Yes? Is it clear? As we move forward talking more about it, next we have IUD device. What does an IUD device? This is how it looks like. Yes, this is a thread-like structure so that you can pull it away. This is how the IUD device looks like. Yes, as we talk about it, children, it prevents the entry of the sperms from fertilizing the egg. It prevents the implantation of the fertilized egg. So basically, it is functioning as a two. First of all, it is not allowing the fusion of gametes to take place. On the other hand, even if the fertilization has taken place, it will not allow the implantation to take place. You know, the implantation in the uterine wall is absolutely important for the growth and development of the embryo. So, if the fertilization has taken place, it is going to prevent, first of all, the fertilization. On the other hand, it is going to basically prevent the implantation of the fertilized egg into the IUD device. Clear? This is how the IUD exactly preventing the conception, preventing the birth control. Yes, any questions related to it? And this is how it looks basically look like. As you can see, it's a T-shaped only. Yes, it's a T-shaped. Next, what we have? Next, we have the children. Very few major features of an IUD as we can talk about. Children, it must be placed inside the uterus by a practitioner, by a medical practitioner. Of course, it's a doctor. It is not done. It is not done by an individual. It has to be placed inside the female reproductive tract by the doctor. require regular checkups. Of course, the require regular checkups is absolutely important. Depending on the time, it can be left inside the uterus for 3 to 10 years after the regular checkups. Yes, yes, after the regular checkups, yes, in between, IUD device can be left inside the uterus for the 3 to 10 years and it can be removed anytime. Yes, it can be removed anytime. The first long-term temporary birth control device. Yes, the IUD device is the long-term temporary birth control device which can be left for a many years. With in between, there should be a regular checkups related to it. Yes, there is going to be a so the IUD devices, it basically placed inside the uterus by a medical practitioner, requires regular checkup and it can be left inside the uterus for 5 to 10 years between the regular checkups, and it is a first long-term temporary birth control device. Yes, so children, we have discussed so many things regarding to the birth control, regarding to prevent the conception. Next children, we have, other than the IUD device, there is a Lippes loop, which is most popular and widely distributed IUDs. Flexible plastic S-shaped loop, which is nylon string at the end. As you can see, this is how the Lippes loop look like. This is very common and this is basically being distributed, and this is how it is being placed inside the uterus, which has a thread-like structure which can be easily pulled out. It is a flexible plastic. It is basically a soft plastic. It's an S-shaped loop with the nylon string at the end. Yes, this is a Lippes loop, which is the most popular and widely distributed IUDs. Yes, other than the properties and other IUDs, this is the most popular one, is most soft plastic and is basically flexible, placed inside the uterus, and of course this is how exactly it is being placed, and this is again going to basically prevent the fusion of fertilization or basically meeting or the male and the female gametes, and of course it's going to prevent the implantation. Nitish, it is another mechanical barrier used by the males. Yes, it's another mechanical barrier. It is being used by the males to prevent the entry of the male gamete inside the female reproductive tract. Yes, clear? Next we have a question for you. Okay, next we have copper covered flexible plastic frame. So these are the particular copper teas. These are the IUD devices which is very common being used. One is the copper T380, copper T300, copper 375. These are all the copper covered flexible plastic frame. Yes, they have a copper covered flexible plastic frame. Yes, these are the properties. These are the IUD devices is being used to prevent the conception. Yes, as we move forward talking more about it, next we have the side effects of IUDs. Of course, everything has their side effects, so that the IUDs, they might be a temporary method to block and prevent the fusion of gametes, but it does have their what side effects. And what are the side effects of IUDs if being used by the females? There's going to be an excessive bleeding and between monthly cycle. Just not a monthly cycle is going to appear, it's going to basically hamper the monthly cycle. You might basically bleed twice a month. Yes, irregular cycles are basically a side effects of copper T. Abnormally heavy periods, a lot of blood loss, lot of blood would be removed. Yes, it's going to be heavy cycle, it's going to be heavy periods. As we talk about the side effects of the IUD, so these are the particular side effects which happen due to the implantation of IUD devices inside the uterus. They're going to be excessive bleeding, they're going to be irregular periods, they're going to be, if IUD is being displaced due to any particular physical jerk, it is going to perforate, is going to penetrate inside the uterus, causing the damage. So, of course, these are the particular side effects which is basically done by the IUDs when it is placed inside the reproductive system. Yes, as we move forward talking about it, next we have oral contraceptives. This is what I was talking about. The oral contraceptives, the pills, the medicines, yes, which is being consumed again to prevent the ovulation, and as we can prevent the ovulation through the estrogen and progesterone acting as a basically acting as a hormonal method of contraception. Yes, the peace pills are designed, as you know children, these pills are designed to control particular hormone which women produce called progesterone and estrogen. So these pills, as you can see, are basically taken every day to prevent the ovulation, to prevent the meeting of the fusion of the male and the female gametes. So children, this is going to hamper the hormones, which two hormones, yes, going to basically impact the hormonal level of progesterone and estrogen. Yes, these pills are designed to control particular hormone of women's, basically the estrogen and progesterone. As we talk about it, children, as you can see, this is how the birth control pills prevent the fertilization by preventing the ovulation. Yes, as you can see, by thickening the cervix wall, they're going to basically prevent the entry of the male gamete. The birth control pills is going to basically prevent the fertilization by stopping the ovulation. Simple, stop the ovulation. These particular ovaries will not ovulate because of the hormonal imbalance, and even if this basically there is no ovulation, this is going to basically block the male gamete from entering the uterus. This is how the cervix is going to basically, the mucus inside the cervix is going to thickening is basically going to happen, and this is going to block the entry of the sperm inside the uterus, inside the fallopian tube, so that there is no entry of the male gamete, there is no fusion of the male gametes. Next, what we have, so talking about the oral contraceptives, children, these are not very effective. These are 90 to 92% to 99% effective to prevent the conception, and have to be prescribed by the doctor. Again, it can be not be taken, and it does not protect from the sexually transmitted diseases. The pills do not protect us from the sexually transmitted diseases. Yes. Next question. The birth control pills prevent pregnancy by, how exactly the birth control pills are avoiding the conception? Yes. Yes, Mamta, I will take the MCQ class on the YouTube. Do not worry about it. Yes, but please, I request you join us on the Embibe app, children. It gives you an immense, as you can see over here. Yes, you can take, you can basically answer, and I will also know. Yes. Quickly answer this. The correct answer, it prevents the ovulation, and it also prevents the entry of the male gametes entering the uterus. Simple. This is how the pills going to prevent. So today, children, we have discussed about the birth control method, especially we have discussed about the hormonal control method. We have discussed about the mechanical control, mechanical barriers, and we have also discussed about how exactly the side effects of each and every birth control or preventing the conception method. Yes, we have discussed about the estrogen and progesterone. We have discovered the IUD devices, the cooperative devices, and of course the pills, how the hormone imbalancing is going to prevent the conception. So this is all about today's session. But children, as you know, we have to, the next we're going to basically discuss about the surgical method of birth control. So the first vasectomy was performed on a dog by Cooper in 1823. So the next section would be related to the surgical method. We're going to discuss about the tubectomy and the vasectomy, how it is going to permanently, without any side effects, going to basically prevent the fertilization. So children, as you know, it doesn't hamper, Nitish. The menstrual cycle will not be hampering by if a males are using the mechanical barriers. So children, this is the Embibe app what I was talking about. What you have to do, you have to log in through your phone number and email ID. Click on the home page button. Yes, side button is there. As you click on the examination CBSE, go for the 10th CBSE, select your language. Click on this page. As you go on the home page button, click on the Embibe live classes. These are the upcoming classes. This is me right now taking your class. Yes, these are the today's upcoming classes. As you can see, these are the classes for the next 7 days. So next we're going to talk about the sexually transmitted disease also, and we're going to also talk about the surgical method of birth control. Please do register for the upcoming classes and check out the pre-class activities. Yes, so do not miss these sessions, children. You can learn, you can practice, you can test, you can see how much you have achieved through this particular app. And you can just download this amazing app, another amazing app, where you can just scan the text, highlight all the keywords, and will show you everything in the 3D. So please go explore this app. And please, after I end this session, going to basically subscribe to this channel and going to basically press that bell icon so that whatever the live classes have been scheduled, you've been updated with that. Yes, and children, this is what the Embibe Telegram channel. You have to just scan the barcode if you want. Yes, I'm just being aside. Join us on the Telegram channel so you keep an update. You can basically ask anything on the Telegram channel. We will meet again with the another session tomorrow with the related to the reproductive health. Until then, please take care. Keep imbibing. Bye-bye.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.